Have you ever heard the phrase, ignorance is bliss? Well, when it comes to red flags about yourself, ignoring them is anything but blissful. Ignoring red flags can lead to serious consequences in the future, whether it be in relationships, work, or personal growth. So today, we want to talk about a topic that we often overlook when it comes to red flags, which is ourselves. We tend to ignore our red flags because it's uncomfortable to confront them. Not to mention it's easier to notice the red flags in other people. The trap we often fall into is that we believe we're immune to the actions and behaviors of others that we think are bad. We convince ourselves that we don't have any red flags, so we go about our lives thinking we're invincible. But little do we know that our actions might unintentionally hurt the people around us. The reality is that this bias affects all of us, making it hard to see the potential consequences of what we do. So it's important to take a closer look at ourselves. We should look out for our red flags that might be causing negative impacts in our lives, as well as in the lives of others. Because when we do that, we're helping ourselves grow and become the best version of ourselves. On the other hand, if we ignore these red flags, we might end up stuck in a cycle of negative patterns and behaviors that can hold us back from achieving personal growth and success. Now, if you think that identifying your red flags is challenging, or you don't know what exactly to look for, you're in luck. Stick around because today we'll be sharing the 10 common red flags you may have that you should never ignore. Number 1. Showing self-centered or selfish behavior. Selfishness is a tricky thing to recognize in ourselves because we tend to make excuses and convince ourselves that what we're doing is for our own benefit. But here's the thing. Being self-centered or selfish can really mess up our relationships with others. It can cause conflicts and misunderstandings, and even make us feel all alone. Think about it. When you constantly prioritize yourself, it can actually lead to a lack of trust in others and vice versa, not to mention hinder effective communication between you and others. You see, when others feel like your interests always come first to you, it's hard for them to believe that you genuinely care about them. This creates a sense of distance and makes it challenging to have open and honest communication. And you know what? Knowing the importance of balance and compromise in relationships is vital for your overall well-being. Number 2. Being passive-aggressive. When it comes to building relationships, effective interpersonal interactions are a must. This requires direct and assertive communication. Simply put, you need to express yourself honestly, clearly, and respectfully, while also actively listening to others. On the other hand, when you indirectly express your frustrations, grievances, and other negative feelings, it's a form of passive-aggressive behavior. This can show up as sarcasm, subtle insults, or withholding information. You might think it's excusable behavior because it's a way to avoid conflict. Or you just don't want to hurt someone's feelings by being direct with them. But passive-aggressive behavior often ends up causing issues in the long run, such as resentment, conflicts in relationships, and damaged trust. Number 3. Not managing and expressing emotions in a healthy way. Emotional intelligence is really about understanding, managing, and expressing our emotions in a positive way. It's so important because it helps us navigate life's ups and downs and build stronger connections with others. When we can effectively handle our emotions, we're able to respond to situations with more balance. And that leads to better decision-making and personal growth. Plus, when we're able to express our feelings in a healthy way, it helps us build trust, communicate openly, and strengthen our relationships with others. But what if you struggle in this area? Well, it can cause strains in your relationships, cause a lot of inner conflict, and prevent you from knowing yourself better. And here's the thing, if you keep suppressing those emotions or don't handle them in a healthy way, they can just bubble up inside you and lead to outbursts and some unhealthy coping mechanisms. That's why it's so important to cultivate emotional intelligence. It empowers us to thrive both personally and in our relationships. Number 4. Holding grudges. When you hold a grudge, it keeps you stuck in a cycle of negativity because it means you're in a state where you're always dwelling on the past. It's not good for your mental health since it can cause stress and anxiety. And then, those can lead to physical issues as well. Plus, it puts up walls that prevent reconciliation and further damage relationships. But you know what? Forgiveness can be a game changer. It's a powerful tool for letting go of resentment, anger, or bitterness toward those who've wronged you. When you choose to forgive, you can move forward, heal, and bring back harmony in your relationships. It's not always easy, but it's worth it. Number 5, consistently being unreliable or unable to follow through on commitments. Reliability is key when it comes to boosting your reputation, building trust, and getting things done efficiently. It's a fundamental trait that affects various aspects of your life, especially in your professional endeavors. By showing people that they can rely on you for both the big and small stuff, it tells them that you value your commitments and take responsibility for your actions. This not only strengthens your relationships with them, but also allows you to cultivate a reputation for being dependable and trustworthy and achieve more in life. Meanwhile, when you consistently fail to deliver on your commitments, it damages others' trust in you and can harm your reputation. It also causes stress and inconvenience for those who rely on you, especially when the task you failed to do involves them. And let's not forget that being unreliable can hinder your personal growth and success. So remember, when you make a commitment, stick to it. By the way, make sure to subscribe if you've learned something new today. Number 6, being manipulative or using others for your own gain. Developing respect and consideration for others while also finding healthy ways to meet your own needs is crucial for fostering better relationships and leading a more fulfilling life. See, when you manipulate or exploit others for your own benefit, it not only damages people's trust in you and erodes your relationships with them, but it also shows your lack of empathy and integrity. Plus, relying on manipulation or exploitation to satisfy your needs is just not sustainable or satisfying in the long run. It's much better to build authentic and meaningful relationships that are based on mutual respect and genuine care. So, instead of manipulation, prioritize empathy, respect, and integrity in your interactions. This is what will allow you to cultivate genuine connections that bring joy and fulfillment to your life. Number 7, not being receptive to feedback. Here's the thing about feedback. It's a powerful tool that gives us insights into how others see us. You can think of it like a window that offers a fresh perspective about ourselves and helps us discover our blind spots, including our red flags. This means when we dismiss or ignore the feedback other people give us, we miss out on opportunities to become more aware of ourselves, hindering our growth and improvement. So, instead of getting defensive or shutting down when receiving feedback, try to approach it with an open mind. See it as a chance for you to discover how you can further learn about yourself and grow. Accepting constructive feedback takes humility and courage, but it's worth it in the end for your personal development and relationships. Not to mention, it'll help you achieve greater success in all areas of your life faster. Number 8, ignoring other people's boundaries. Establishing and respecting boundaries is among the most vital aspects of any relationship. You know, boundaries are like guidelines that set our limits. They show us how we should treat someone and how they should treat us, what behavior is acceptable for us and them or not, and where our responsibilities lie. And you know what? Boundaries also help us feel safe, allowing us to protect ourselves from being taken advantage of or mistreated. Ultimately, they can impact our well-being. When you constantly ignore someone's boundaries, it can result in resentment, conflict, and even harm your relationship with them. After all, disregarding boundaries makes them feel disrespected, unheard, and undervalued. On the other hand, respecting their boundaries demonstrates that you value their needs, emotions, and preferences. So make sure to communicate and respect boundaries in all your relationships. It creates a healthier dynamic for everyone involved and is vital for fostering healthy relationships and establishing trust. Number 9, being excessively competitive and constantly seeking to be better than the rest. Competition can be a game changer for personal and professional growth as long as it stays healthy. When we talk about healthy competition, it means pushing yourself to reach your full potential while appreciating and respecting the skills and achievements of others. This builds self-confidence and belief in your abilities as you witness your own progress and successes. On the flip side, when you get too caught up in trying to outdo others and constantly strive to be better than everyone else, it can cause all sorts of problems. This kind of mindset creates a toxic environment within teams and organizations and undermines trust among colleagues. Plus, it often leads to high levels of stress and burnout because you'll always feel the pressure to outshine your peers. What's more, This intense focus on outperforming others can even lead to unethical behavior, as you might resort to questionable practices just to gain a competitive edge. Number 10. Consistently showing dishonest behavior. Honesty and integrity are the fundamental building blocks of ethical behavior, and they hold immense value in both your personal and professional life. Think about it this way. When you unfailingly engage in dishonesty or lack integrity, it becomes challenging for others to trust you. This ultimately damages relationships and hinders your potential for growth and success. And that's not all. A lack of honesty and integrity also undermines your self-respect and moral compass. This then leads to inner turmoil and compromises your sense of identity. And if you liked this video, then check out these related videos to see more. And make sure to like this video to let the algorithm know you'd like to see more videos like these.